Buddha often reminded his students of the immense power that lies within our words. He likened the tongue to the sharpest blade in the world, stressing that words are the most dangerous weapon we possess, not because they cause physical wounds, but because they can pierce the heart and soul. Our words can lift someone up or break them down, offer strength or expose our weakness, depending on how and when they are used. Speaking wisely and kindly at the right moment can lead us towards success, but unkind words spoken at the wrong time can make life profoundly difficult. Today I want to share a story that reveals the transformative power of silence and its deep connection to ancient wisdom, a power that can change your life. This story is about a timeless truth, that within silence we find not just peace, but clarity, strength, and the answers we seek. Once upon a time in the land of India, there was a renowned Buddhist monk who lived deep in the heart of a tranquil forest, far from the distractions of the world. This monk was known throughout the land, not only for his wisdom, but for the stillness that seemed to radiate from his very being. He had embraced the silence of the forest, and in doing so, he had discovered the depths of his own soul. One day a great king sought him out, driven by an inner turmoil that all the wealth, power, and luxury of his kingdom could not soothe. The king approached the monk and confessed, "Respected monk, despite having everything I could possibly want, wealth, fame, and all the luxuries anyone could desire, my mind remains restless. I feel exhausted, frustrated, and deeply unsatisfied. There is no peace within me. Please, I beg you, help me rid my mind of this relentless unrest." The monk listened with quiet understanding and then spoke softly. "Your answer lies within you, but you have yet to discover it. The peace you seek is not something external, nor is it something I can simply give you. It is already there within your own heart. However, I can help guide you to it through an experiment, one that, if you follow earnestly, will free you from this restless mind." The king, though still troubled, was intrigued. "Tell me what I must do. I will do anything for peace of mind," he replied. The monk, with the calmness of one who has seen the truth many times, said, "For the next 15 days, you will stay here at my monastery and live as a simple person. During this time, you will remain in silence and speak as little as possible. You must sit quietly with yourself, in stillness and solitude." Although the king was unaccustomed to such simplicity and silence, he agreed to the monk's plan. But from the very first day, his mind became even more restless. Thoughts raced through his head, and a multitude of questions arose. He felt uncomfortable living a life of such stark simplicity, and the urge to speak was overwhelming. Yet he restrained himself and remained silent, sitting quietly as instructed. As night fell, something remarkable began to happen. A subtle shift occurred within him. His restlessness started to fade, and an unexpected sense of calmness crept in. The king was puzzled. Why was this happening? Why did his mind begin to settle as he embraced the stillness? The next morning, he continued to sit in silence, but now he started to notice the beauty of the world around him. The flowers, the trees, the birds flying in the sky. He had never truly seen them before, never felt their quiet presence or appreciated the harmony that existed in nature. It was as if, for the first time, he was truly present in his own life. As the days passed, the inner chaos of his mind began to unravel. By the 10th day, his restlessness had disappeared entirely, and he found himself slipping naturally into a deep state of meditation. His eyes closed on their own, and his mind entered a place of stillness so profound that all worries seemed to melt away. For the first time, he experienced true inner peace, a peace that no amount of wealth, power, or luxury could provide. When the 15 days had passed, the king approached the monk, his face glowing with a quiet joy he had never known before. "Respected monk," the king began, "I have discovered the reason for my troubled mind. I now understand why I was so restless. The monk smiled knowingly and asked, "Tell me, what have you learned?" The king took a deep breath and said, "I used to talk too much. I spent far too much energy speaking and thinking negatively about others. My constant talking drained me, scattering my focus, and my negative thoughts only fueled my dissatisfaction. This endless chatter, both aloud and in my mind, prevented me from truly living in the present moment. It was only when I embraced silence that I could see clearly. In those 15 days, I found peace, stillness, and most importantly, I found myself. I now understand that meditation is not something we force. It comes naturally when we quiet the noise within." The monk nodded in agreement and replied, "Indeed, many people in this world talk too much. They use words to harm, to judge, and to distract themselves from their own discomfort. Silence, on the other hand, is a gateway to self-discovery. Do you remember when one of Buddha's students once asked him, 'Why do you remain silent so often?' Buddha replied, 'I stay silent to dive deep within myself. Silence is the first step to knowing who you truly are. Without it, self-discovery is impossible.'" The monk paused, letting the weight of his words sink in, then continued, "When we learn to embrace silence, we begin to realize that most of our talking, perhaps as much as 90%, is unnecessary. It does more harm than good. Imagine a world where people spoke less, where silence reigned. There would be fewer arguments, less restlessness, and more peace. Silence doesn't just calm the mind, it transforms it. Through silence, the monk said, we learn to listen, not just to others but to ourselves. We tap into a deeper wisdom, one that speaks not with words, but with understanding. When we stop talking, we begin to hear the voice of our true self. And it is only by listening to this inner voice that we can find true peace and happiness. The monk's words resonated deeply with the king, who had now experienced the power of silence firsthand. He realized that true peace is not found in external possessions or achievements, but in quieting the mind and looking within. The monk smiled again and said, "Silence is not just the absence of noise, it is the presence of awareness. When we embrace silence, we allow the mind to rest, and in that rest, we find clarity. We begin to see things as they truly are, unclouded by our thoughts or judgments. This is the essence of meditation. It is not about doing, but about being still, being present, being at peace. If we look around us, we'll notice that most of the unrest in the world comes from too much talking, too much mindless chatter, arguments and distractions. But those who speak less, those who choose their words carefully, are often the ones who find success, respect, and true peace. Great leaders, wise teachers, and enlightened beings all have this in common. They know when to speak and when to remain silent. They understand that silence is not weakness, it is strength. In ancient wisdom from various cultures, we find that words are often compared to seeds. They can either plant the seeds of harmony or discord, peace or conflict. When we speak, we should ask ourselves, is this necessary? Is it kind? Will it help or harm? The more we cultivate silence, the more we can focus our energy on what truly matters. So, I urge you to take time each day, at least 20 minutes, to sit in solitude, in silence. It may feel strange at first, but with practice, you will find that this small act of stillness can have a profound impact on your life. It will bring clarity, focus, and peace, helping you navigate the challenges of life with wisdom and grace. If you found value in this message, consider joining our community by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing your thoughts below. Your participation helps spread these ancient teachings and brings more people to the path of mindfulness and peace. Thank you for being a part of this journey toward wisdom and tranquility.